What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Binkz and Doodle Effect. I am one of your hosts, Binkz, and joined with me, as always, Mr. DrewskiDoodles. How are you today, Drew?
I'm doing pretty good. Be better when the Rangers score, but doing pretty good.
Yeah, feeling better from all your sickness from before?
Oh, it's long gone.
Haha, we're glad. Binkz and Doodle Effect presented to you by Lividity and Lividity Gaming, and as well as always, our biggest sponsor for the podcast, Rogue Energy. Rogue Energy is a premium energy and focus supplement designed to optimize your mental and physical performance. Unlike unhealthy canned energy drinks, the powerful supplement can be taken daily for overall improved performance. It's packed with vitamins, 0 calories. If you want a good boost and you don't want to drink one of those actual energy drinks, we recommend Rogue Energy. Use the code GETLIVID, 5% off your entire purchase. I'm doing a live taste test like I have been doing for the past 5 weeks. This is actually
nice little run.
It's the last taste test actually. I'm out of flavors other than blue raspberry and all the ones that we did on camera already. So, with that being said, this is peach iced tea or peach tea.
Oh, I like that one. I like that one.
I despise peach.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I despise peach. But I also despise grape, and I also despise watermelon, and I like both of them. So I'm optimistic
Fair
here.
Point.
So peach tea, Rogue Energy. All right, that's definitely my.
I remember it tastes like iced tea. It has a little bit of peach to it, but I remember it not being too overwhelming.
Yeah, I'm not a big peach guy. It's not bad. I would never drink this ever again. No offense to Rogue Energy, but
I love peach iced tea.
As usual, I'll drink the whole thing. But it's definitely the best tasting peach thing I've ever had, and I said that for watermelon and grape, but they do make it pretty good. So if I like it and I don't like the flavor in general, it's actually really good. So
that's a job well done.
To the MLB, Andrew, you want to take us away with what we got going in Major League Baseball?
What don't we have going on with Major League Baseball? The Mets don't have a GM anymore because he's an idiot. I'm sure everyone kind of, he basically harassed some reporter. I will say I was very happy with how quickly Steve Cohen hopped on that and just cut ties. I was like, we're done here. They weren't futzing around with it. They didn't want to leave. It's a new era for the team, obviously, and they don't want it lingering around. So I liked how quickly that they responded to it. And they already announced they're not going to name another GM until the end of this coming season, which I also kind of like. So big thumbs up to Steve Cohen. The biggest of thumbs down to Jared Porter.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. That is, you in the age of the internet, in the age of everything that we have now, it's gonna come out that you did that. You have to be stupid to harass and pursue something like that. And I totally agree. Absolutely, guy should be fired. I'm completely with you on that. Now let me just play devil's advocate real quick. My man sent 62 unanswered text messages.
Honestly, that's worse than the pictures.
Hear me out, Andrew. Just bear with me. Let me play devil's advocate. He sent 62 unanswered text messages. The first 61, just regular text messages. He decided on text message number 62, you know what's going to change her mind? A dick pic. And that is what he does. He sends the dick pic on text message number 62. Now, all that's being said and done, terrible. Can you imagine this guy trying to make a trade? The persistence.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
My man went 0 for 62 and had his eye on the prize. Can you imagine this guy saying, I want your player. I'm not going to give up. My man had persistence. That is exactly what you want in the boardroom when going after someone. You need that energy. But absolutely no. He should be fired. Absolutely should be fired. And why would you send the dick pic? With the age of the internet, your dick, your schlong is going to be everywhere.
Seriously, this guy's, oh my God. Bro, how do you not get the hint after someone doesn't answer it? 60 messages.
Man,
How do you not get the hint after 5 of them?
Literally. It kills me. It kills me. Like I wouldn't even send that to like Taylor. Like it's not something you do. God forbid, like your phone gets hacked. Your schlong is all over the internet. It's once it's on the internet, it's there.
Yeah,
it's not coming off.
I just don't understand.
No, I don't
you know what? We're not those types of people, so we can't
Not
understand
those types
it.
of
Most people aren't those types of people.
Yeah.
Definitely
deserve to be fired. But go on.
Yeah, more regular baseball news. The Yankees signed DJ LeMahieu. They're giving him a shitload of money, and they're giving him a shitload of years.
Rightfully deserved, though. Man, definitely their best signing probably for the Yankees in forever.
I will say that if signing him this long was like a requirement for signing him, then good for them. Do it. If they could have signed him for longer, I would have, because he is 32. So by the end of this contract, he's going to be 38. He's making $90 million, but for the short term, the next 3-4 years, that's a great signing.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably the best Yankee last year, without a question.
Hands down.
And then they went around and signed 35-year-old Corey Kluber for $11 million. That one I don't get.
They need pitching.
That they do, but like the guy hurt his shoulder last year and missed significant time. $11 million is a good amount of money. I just feel like I don't hate it, but if this was something that the Mets did, I feel like Yankee fans would be ripping on the Mets nonstop.
Well, you gotta put it in perspective. Yankees have had the luxury of like no salary cap with their organization, so $11 million to the New York Yankees really, in a nutshell, isn't much. Do I think it's a reach? Yeah, but I mean, what other option are they really gonna get with what they have currently? So it's not like it was a bad move, but like at the same time, if the Mets did this, like you said, I feel like the opposite way.
Yeah, when I first heard that, it was a very Mets move in my mind. I was like, oh my God, does the Wilpons have control of the Yankees?
Well, you have some Yankee fans who devote their life to just shitting on the Mets, and then you have other Yankee fans who are just like, I don't care what the Mets do because they're not in our, they're not even in our league. So
yeah,
so it's back and forth. As a Met fan, I feel like we have more Met fans that shit on Yankees than Met fans that don't care about the Yankees.
Well, yeah, I mean that's from years of abuse. Okay,
definitely.
I'm past that because there's no point to it, but I still want to see them lose.
Absolutely.
Then there was also in the more pitching deals, the Padres bolstered their rotation, getting Joe Musgrove in a 3-way deal, which the Mets ended up getting Joey Lucchesi. Solid pitcher, is going to be a low end rotation guy. We'll be fine, no problems there. Yeah, it's a solid pickup for the Mets. It's a great pickup for the Padres, even though they're kind of overpaid. But the Padres rotation and the Padres are nuts this year. They're absolutely nuts.
Who do you start? Do you put Max
number
in the rotation or do you put Chesney now? Because it's gonna be they're both lefties. Who are you going with? Max is.
I don't have Mats in the rotation.
You don't have Mats in the rotation.
Either that, or if you run like a 6-man, but I don't really want to run a 6-man because that takes away starts from DeGrom
and Syndergaard.
Unless there's really you can't some teams like doing 6-man. I hate it. I can never see it happening. I don't know. I mean, start by start. If one dude implodes, maybe he loses his next start. Depending on the schedule too, on days of the week.
As long as we win, I don't care who's pitching.
As long as DeGrom gets as many starts as possible.
As long as we win, yes.
And more pitching. The Nationals signed John Lester. And the Nationals rotation is officially freaking nasty. Their top 3 of Scherzer, Strasburg, and Corbin. Then you throw in Anibal Sanchez, who found a fountain of youth apparently, and now John Lester. Like that's a sick rotation. It's gonna make the NL East even harder.
We're the best division in baseball.
Oh, without a doubt.
Competitive wise.
Yeah, that's without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah. Hall of Fame pitcher Don Sutton passed away. Terrible loss. Age 75, cancer. Great pitcher. What do you want? What do you want to say?
Dude's a legend. Yeah, everyone needs a legend.
Hall of Famer.
300 plus wins. Like, come on.
Yeah, you have 300 plus wins. You made it.
Yeah.
You definitely made it. Speaking of 300, though, it's funny that you say that because I actually have an Ichiro stat for you. I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this or not.
I think I do.
Ichiro, on his 10th career at bat, singled to center field. That 10th at bat put his lifetime batting average over 300. Ichiro never went under 300.
Never went back.
Again. You know how crazy that is? Your 10th at bat, you hit 300, and you never went under 300 then ever again for the rest of your career. That to me was absolutely wild. I had no idea until I saw that and heard that. And I always thought Ichiro was a great player, but I did not know that about him. And that is the most one of the most impressive things I think I've ever heard. Like, I don't care how many home runs you can hit. Having a 300 batting average your entire career is way more impressive to me than you being able to put the ball out of the park.
Yeah, it's a type of hitter that is lost nowadays. You don't see that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
At all. His dude just slapped it the other way, got on base every time, and then stole 2 bases. Legendary. It's fantastic. That was the type.
Amazing.
That was the type of player I saw with Jeff McNeil.
Amen.
Not to the same caliber, but he's not looking to go hit the ball 450 feet every time. He just wants to slap it into the outfield. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just look to get on. That's all you need. All these players nowadays just want to swing for the long ball, and that's not. You don't need to do that. I mean, look at, kind of off topic, but look at like the 97, 98 New York Yankees. They weren't this powerhouse of a team, but they were a dynasty because they just made contact. They just got base hits, extra base hits. I mean, you don't need. Look at them now. They have like anyone in their lineup could hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
But the team back in the 90s that was a dynasty, nowhere compared to their power, way better than the team that they have now.
You know, that's also what the state of the sport right now. Every player is like that.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to hit home runs, which, I mean, it's just how baseball is now. So that's just the way it's going to be.
Yep, absolutely. Going over to hockey. I see you got your Ranger jersey on, so you've been enjoying the sport again. Game 1, the Islanders pretty much bent the Rangers. The Rangers looked flat in Game 1. They did not look good.
Yeah, they look terrible.
The Islanders beat us in Game 1, but in Game 2, we turned it around, and we pretty much bent them over in Game 2, so we gave it right back to them.
We're winning on aggregate.
We are. 5 goals.
We're winning on aggregate.
We scored 5 goals. They scored 4. So
exactly. And I do just want to say the Rangers just scored against the Devils. Chris Kreider was his first goal of the season.
That. 1-1 now in the New Jersey Devil game. That is live as we record this podcast, but it'll be yesterday's news for you guys.
Yeah, that first game was terrible. They couldn't get anything going all night. Shesterkin let in 2 bad ones, but then for the rest of the game, after like the 10-minute mark of the first period, he was basically lights out.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, they took 8 penalties too, like absurd. That should never happen. So they, that game ended. They scratched D'Angelo over the next game, which I had 2 very different opinions on, because one, they're letting Jack Johnson play hockey, and Jack Johnson's freaking terrible. But also, it's worse to play stupid than to play bad, and D'Angelo was playing stupid. He took 2 really dumb penalties because he's arguing with the ref, and I think the other one was it was something completely unnecessary as well. And they wound up winning the next game. They didn't just win; they looked fantastic. Panarin scored 2 goals. Lafreniere hasn't scored yet, but he'll get there. And then coming from the Islanders' point of view, they were supposed to start Varlamov again, and in warm-ups, he takes a puck to the throat, which, if anyone plays hockey, they know that you're not supposed to shoot up high on your goalie in warm-ups. You're only supposed to shoot on their pads because you're not trying to score in warm-ups. You're just trying to warm up. So Cal Clutterbuck shoots it up high, hits him in the neck. Personally, if I was Barry Trotz, I would have benched Clutterbuck for that game because that's just stupid. So welcome to the NHL, Ilya Sorokin, getting thrown in there 20 minutes before game time. And not only are you, being taken out of your element because you didn't have time to prepare for this, you weren't supposed to start, but also your team looked like crap. So he got lit up, and it wasn't really his fault. So that's 2 games down. We got 6 more to go. I don't know if I can handle it.
I just want to win the series. I want to just have more wins out of head-to-head matches with the Islanders. I just want to win more.
Yeah, it's going to be a long year. I don't know if I can physically.
Definitely going to be a long year. I hate versing the Islanders. I really do. because they really are, all bias aside, they really are a good team overall.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, the next 10 years of the East is dominated by the Rangers and Islanders. You can quote me on that for the next who cares how long. They're going to be the two best teams in the East within the next 2 to 3 years and for the next 10 minimum. Just because they're so young and they're so good.
Yep.
Yeah, and we'll don't have to see freaking Pittsburgh at the top again, which they also look like shit right now. So that's pretty great. Then you also had the first kind of COVID scare of the NHL season, the Hurricanes and Predators game today, which is Tuesday.
So
got
for you guys.
Got postponed out of abundance of caution because 5 players are in COVID-19 protocol. Hopefully they keep it under wraps. Not under wraps. So they keep it under control. And that doesn't affect the season anymore because if hockey gets suspended, I might actually go play in traffic.
We got baseball coming up, so at least you'll have that to cope a little bit. So
yeah.
Going on to the NFL. How do you want
to
start it? You want to start with the Chiefs? The biggest news of the
yeah,
week?
Yeah, sure.
So the Chiefs host.
Yeah.
Chiefs won, barely, but the Chiefs host the 3rd straight AFC Championship game in a row, and that was the first time in AFC history that a team has hosted the AFC Championship. And with all the great Patriot teams with Belichick and Brady, it's amazing that they never hosted 3 years in a row. But the biggest kicker, if you were listening to last week, the only time this ever happened was in the NFC with the Eagles, and the common denominator is that Andy Reid was the coach for both teams. So Andy Reid has coached a team to the NFC Championship 3 years in a row, and Andy Reid has coached a team in the AFC to the AFC Championship 3 years in a row. Unbelievable stat. Good for Andy Reid. My man has balls for going on 4th down with your backup quarterback.
I loved it. As soon as it came to that situation too, I was like, you go for it here. You go for it here. And they went for it. I was like, yes, this is how you play.
You see, I'm usually the guy who's aggressive like that. But first of all, I think they gave him a bad spot. I think he had the first down on the run. That's beside the point. I would have punted it, personally. I personally would have punted it. The balls that Andy Reid had and the faith in his backup quarterback to just get 1 yard to just end the game. I get it. You don't want to put the ball back in Baker Mayfield's hand. Browns score a touchdown, you lose. But at the same time, if that fails, you just gave the Browns phenomenal field position with about a minute and change left. So
my reasoning for going for it was because it wasn't a 3-point difference. If it was a field goal game, I obviously punted. But since they have to score a touchdown, I think that I would have enough faith in KC's middle of the road defense and Cleveland's middle of the road offense that you can bend but not break. And if you get it, which they did, the game's over. Mm-hmm. Now I do want to say, obviously Mahomes got hurt. That was a terrifying looking play. So you really can't, as much as that's an X factor, but the Browns were owed a touchdown on that because on that the fumble for the touchback, that was a helmet to helmet hit. That didn't get called. So this game had a lot of extracurricular going on. Mm-hmm. So I just want to say I hate the fumble into the end zone touchback rule. I hate that rule. I think it's freaking stupid because it doesn't matter anywhere else on the field. I hate how in the NFL the rules completely change in the end zone. I can't stand that. I think it's so freaking stupid. But yeah, I mean that was that was so obvious looking at it too. The dude came in like a dart, hit him right in the head. I couldn't believe it didn't get called. But again, like I said, at the same time, Mahomes got hurt, so if he doesn't get hurt, this game's probably not even close. Mm-hmm. Last I saw, they don't think Mahomes has a concussion. It was like a pinched nerve or something, which would be fantastic for his own health and for the Chiefs for this coming week, because God knows they need him, even though Henne, whatever his name is, looked pretty good. But when Mahomes went to stand up and he literally couldn't stand, and then they zoomed in on his face and the lights were on, but nobody was home, that was out. Scary. He was gone.
And when they showed the replay, I couldn't see where he hit his head.
Yep. There's one spot for like a split second right before he falls, turns over. He hits the front of his helmet.
Does
goes
he?
against the ground.
Because
Yeah.
for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why he was having an issue. At first, I thought it was like he did something to like a leg or something. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
where did he hit his head? Like I can't see where he actually hit his head. And then I wasn't expecting him to even be ruled out because after he came out of the blue tent, he jogged on his own to the locker room.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, this guy is just going to go to the locker room for like maybe 5 minutes. He's going to come back out. He's going to start slinging again. And then they said he was out. My immediate thought was, oh my God, it's going to be Bills Browns.
Yeah.
Because like I didn't have any faith in Henny.
Yeah.
And
I hear that.
the Browns almost made the comeback.
They did. I mean, listen, what's his face has done, the coach of the Browns, what he's done with Baker Mayfield. Like Baker Mayfield now, we'll see if he can continue it next year. But the second half of the season, man, looked really good. He got the Browns their first playoff appearance since the '90s. Their first playoff win.
Mm-hmm.
Like he did really well. But yeah, as far as Mahomes goes, like if it was ruled a concussion, he's not playing.
Mm-hmm. And the Chiefs.
If he's in testing, he's not playing.
The Chiefs need Mahomes to win against the Bills.
Absolutely, it's going to be and even with Mahomes there, it's going to be a battle. So they definitely need him against Buffalo.
It's going to be a great game with Josh Allen and the Bills, and they've been clicking.
Yeah. Speaking of Buffalo, that game was wacky against Baltimore.
Baltimore did not
look
good.
No, they looked like crap.
They did not look good. And I mean, Lamar Jackson as well went down.
Mm-hmm.
But what's his face? The backup for Lamar Jackson looked like a stud. He actually came in. That man was ready. He just looked good. The Lamar Jackson's backup. So props to him. I don't even know his name. But,
I couldn't tell you either.
Props to him. He came out firing. He was ready to play. But the Bills Chiefs, if Mahomes is healthy to play, Bills Chiefs is going to be a phenomenal game. And I was talking about it with a few people. We are going to have really, really great AFC Championship games for the next 10, 15 years.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to always have Mahomes. We're going to have Josh Allen right there. If Baker Mayfield continues to play at his level and continue, listen, I didn't think that Baker Mayfield was going to be anyone. I didn't think he was going to be an NFL quarterback. I thought he was one of those college quarterbacks that just peak in college.
Josh Rosen.
Josh Rosen, Johnny Manziel, Sam Darnold, all those people. I will give credit where credit's due. Baker Mayfield is making me look bad in a sense, but we'll see how he does next year if he continues. But I mean, even Lamar Jackson as he progresses is going to be phenomenal. We'll see what Pittsburgh does. I mean, I think Big Ben is done.
I agree.
The Steelers have a phenomenal defense. Their offense could use some work, but if they get that click in the offense rolling again, I think Tomlin is still a great coach. I don't think that he's the issue.
Yeah.
But
see what also goes on with Miami.
Exactly.
Miami with
Tua. Going to be fantastic.
There's a lot. Going to be.
I personally think the Patriots are still an absolute contender if they can work it out their offense. I don't put.
And again, I think they're going to draft Mac Jones, and they're going to be immediately back. In a year or two, and be immediately back in the picture.
Better. Mm-hmm.
The AFC's loaded.
You can't count out Belichick's system. I don't personally think that Cam fits the system like Brady could.
I agree with you. Yeah.
Even though Cam could run, unlike Brady, it's still.
He doesn't have the arm. He doesn't have it.
At the same time, I mean, you look at the Patriots with a system with Belichick and Brady over the course of 20 years, and you expect the same type of greatness for a guy thrown into that same system. I mean, they had 20 years to work on that perfection of the system, and now Cam is in 1 year. You gotta if you're gonna keep Cam, you need maybe another year or two for him to get used to this whole Belichick system.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Or you draft, like you said, you can get Mac Jones and immediately better because I think Mac Jones ultimately in the long run will be better than Cam Newton.
And he plans the play style that Brady did.
Exactly. So I think the Patriots in 2 or 3 years are right back in the race. The Jets, before we go to the NFC, the Jets hired a new head coach. Robert Saleh. I don't know if I'm saying that last name right.
I think that's how you say it.
49ers defensive coach. First decision the New York Jets have done that I am on board with in the longest
it's a great decision.
Longest time. Love his energy on the sidelines of the 49ers game. That man is just a football coach. I'm hoping he whips the Jets into shape. People are saying keep Darnold, give him a stud wide receiver. I don't know if I want to go through the whole Darnold fiasco for another year, but we'll see. Listen, if I eat my words with Darnold, I'll give credit where credit's due if he turns it around with a new coach. I'm not going to sit here and try to, say, oh, no, I'm still right. If Darnold turns it around, good for him. I was wrong. But let's call a spade here. I personally don't see it, regardless of a coach. But I'm hoping we do that. There's rumors that we may get Watson. If anyone ever says that they want Darnold over Deshaun Watson, I'm banning you. I'm stripping your rights as a Jet fan if you'd rather have Darnold over Deshaun Watson. So
yeah, that's just stupid.
That's just dumb. So I'm hoping we get Watson, we get a new coach, build our offensive line, give Watson a stud of a receiver. I personally think Mims is going to be big. I think he's going to be great for us as he progresses. But you're still going to need an absolute stud of a receiver, hands down. For running backs, I like the guy from Florida. I think he'll be good. I don't think we need to look for a running back right now. We'll see how the guy pans out. For some reason, Adam Gase thought Frank Gore was the move and never really played him, so we'll see. But NFC, Drew Brees, Andrew.
What a career. To use a wrestling term, he has been retired by Tom Brady. It sucks he went out like that because that was not a good game.
Oh, he had a terrible game.
That was an awful game. I mean, I had the Bucs winning the whole time. I didn't think that Brees was going to throw 3 picks. Then you also had the fumble by Jared Cook. So, I mean, the Saints, by all means, handed the game to Tampa Bay. It's going to come down to whatever team makes the less mistakes, and Tampa Bay didn't make any, and New Orleans made all of them. So it does suck that he had to go out like that, but he's one of the best of all time. Yeah, that's what you're going to remember about him.
Hands down, Drew Brees, not even an argument, top 5 best quarterbacks probably ever play the game. Now, you know how I feel about Brady. Personally speaking, during the season, Andrew, the Bucs destroyed Green Bay in the season. Okay? Now, hear my thought process out of this. You watch the Bucs for the Saint game. The Bucs offense, in reality, didn't actually do much. They got fantastic field position like every time they had the ball. Like Brady never really had to march down the field to score. They had phenomenal field position pretty much every single possession. And that's probably one of the biggest reasons why the Saints lost, because of, like you said, turnovers and mistakes. Yeah. They gave Brady, who I'm not trying to down all the time, Brady, easily one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, phenomenal field position. You can't do that and then expect to win.
No, absolutely not.
Especially like someone with Tom Brady. Now, here's the thing that people aren't thinking of, that at least I've heard. So now you have Brady versus Rodgers. One, going to be a phenomenal match. Both quarterbacks in the playoffs. 2, it's going to be in Lambeau. And it's going to be really cold. Potential snow for the NFC Championship game.
Which will be dope.
The entire Green Bay offense and defense used to that type of weather.
Correct.
Only person on Tampa Bay who is used to that type of weather, Tom Brady.
But you can't argue that's the most important person to be used to it.
Yes, but his receivers still have to move. The running backs still have to move. And if it's they're not used to playing in the snow, they're not used to playing in that really extreme cold, especially a field like Lambeau, it could definitely benefit the Packers. I think if it snows, hot take, I think if it snows, I think Green Bay wins. If it doesn't snow and it's just a bad cold game, I personally think Brady brings the Bucs to the Super Bowl. That's my take on it. If it snows, I think Green Bay wins that. I think Green Bay wins if it snows. But if it's not snowing and it's just a miserable 20 degrees, 15 degree weather game, I think the Bucs, as bad as they may look trying to play in the cold, I think the Bucs ultimately end up winning that game because statistically, Rodgers has had terrible NFC stats, NFC championship game stats.
Yeah, he doesn't look good in his NFC Championship game.
No.
But I do think another X factor beyond the snow, honestly, is if Antonio Brown is completely healthy and comes to play, because he's another person who would be used to cold and snow, having spent all the time in Pittsburgh.
Correct.
I mean, either way, I think it's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be like a 3-point game. Honestly, it's gonna be a very good game. And again, it's gonna come down to who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
You can say that all you want, but it's what's gonna happen. It's not even me being like a giant Brady fan. I don't know. Obviously Tampa Bay's offense is stacked. So is Green Bay's. What a big thing too is Green Bay having Lazard, who they didn't have for half the season, because Lazard is a nice receiver that without him really strips their receiving core. But I also think that the Tampa getting Fournette more involved recently is huge.
Mm-hmm.
If he can get going, that can really compete with Aaron Jones, because as far as passing wise, personally, these teams are pretty close. The run game is where there's a big discrepancy because you have Aaron Jones and Green Bay.
Fournette and Ronald Jones on Tampa have been pretty much disgusting all year, especially Ronald Jones. But lately in the playoffs,
but now I saw against the Saints, there was a lot of plays where Ronald Jones didn't look that great, and it scared me a little bit. I'm definitely bigger on Fournette than Ronald Jones. But Tampa Bay needs them both to be on their game to compete with Aaron Jones, without a doubt, because Aaron Jones is absolutely snazzy. Like I said, it's gonna be a great game. I think Tampa's gonna win either way, but again by 3 points. It might end up coming down to clock management where Tampa's down by 3 with 2 minutes left and Tom Brady goes and scores a touchdown. It could come down to something like that again, or vice versa. I think that's what's going to come down to is the last team to have the ball is going to win.
I respect that because I personally think it's going to be really close. Like I said, I think Tampa wins. As much as it kills me to say, I think Tampa wins. But if it snows, I don't.
It's a big factor.
The snow, I think, kills Tampa if it does actually snow. Because even though you got Brady and, like you said, AB, who's you said weather, you have the entire Green Bay offense who already is, and a Tampa Bay defense who is not at all.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I mean, if you're Green Bay, your focus right now is to get to Brady as quick as you can. It's a lot of pressure on that defensive line. You want to make Brady rush his throws because we're going to call a spade a spade. Brady is not a mobile quarterback, never really was. You need to get pressure on Brady. For Tampa, you definitely want to lock down Davante Adams. That is your number one thing. You need to shut him down. If you let Davante Adams loose, Rodgers and Davante Adams are gonna have a field day.
Yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. Who do you think if Mahomes plays now? Do you think the Chiefs beat the Bills, or you think the Bills go to the Super Bowl?
I've been taking the Bills the whole season. I'm sticking with them. There's just something about them I like. They kept a very, very white-hot Ravens offense to 3 points. Obviously, there's a lot of factors at play in that, but they still did it. I'm going to give the credit where it's due. I don't know. It's just I felt the Bills all year. We don't know if Clyde is going to play. Not that Kansas City runs the ball that much, but
still a
Buffalo. If he doesn't play, Buffalo clearly wins the run game. If he does play, it's a lot closer.
Well, Kansas City can't stop the run. I feel like it's every year. They have terrible run.
Which is going to be a problem with Josh Allen. Because he's just on some. He's this year. He's just nuts. Yeah, he's just nuts this year. I'm going either way to take the Bills, but again, it's going to be a very similar game to the NFC Championship, where it's going to be very close. It's going to be, I think, a lot higher scoring, but it's going to be very close.
Well, if Mahomes doesn't play, I think we could all agree the Bills are going to the Super Bowl.
Bills are going to walk all over.
Bills are going to walk. It's going to be the walk-in for the Super Bowl. If Mahomes does play, it's going to be a great game. It's going to be both championship games. Going to be absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
I actually saw a meme that I found funny that the Bills finally have a year
Yeah.
with Tom Brady isn't in the AFC East and they are coasting through, and if they get to the Super Bowl, only to have to play Brady.
Oh my god, dude! Can you imagine?
Brady comes out and is like, "Yo, what's up, Bills? Do you
Hey,
remember me?"
The PTSD from Bills Mafia would be
Oh,
through the roof.
getting all the way to the Super Bowl just to still have to face Brady.
Oh, those poor people.
Oh my
Which
God.
actually, I mean, it brings up another fun little thing is that you have two of the older greatest of all times playing against each other in the NFC Championship, and you have the two young quarterbacks who are going to be the Brady and Rodgers of the next 10 years playing in the AFC Championship. It's awesome.
Yeah. It really this is what makes me think that sometimes the NFL is just fixed.
It's scripted
Because like it's scripted. It's not.
Because even go back farther one round. You had Drew Brees just now in the NFC. You had Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson in the AFC.
Yeah.
It's wild.
It's ridiculous. So I personally can't wait. I'm gonna have a hard time watching because I ultimately, regardless of me and my love for Rodgers, I really have always loved Green Bay. They're a football team. You know, Green Bay is such a football town. I loved Brett Favre. My dad growing up, when the Jets weren't playing, he always rooted for Green Bay as well. You even went back when he was a kid, way before Brett Favre. So, like, I've always had Green Bay in my life. So they are always a team I, regardless, always rooted for. And I fell in love with Aaron Rodgers. Don't know why, but I did. And I'm not ready to see him lose an NFC Championship to Tom Brady, to like the person that like I despise the most in like all of sports. And I'm just not ready. And then on the other side, I have probably my new once Rodgers retires, I have Mahomes, which is definitely going to be my favorite quarterback in the league then. So I'm going to be riding with the Chiefs in the AFC. When the Jets aren't, doing anything. So I would love to see both of them play each other in the Super Bowl. I would love for Chiefs Green Bay. Personally. So.
It's just great. We all win this Super Bowl because no matter what, we have a fantastic quarterback matchup. No matter what. It's impossible.
It's impossible to not have unless one of the quarterbacks get hurt.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. Yeah. That we have a healthy game on both ends. I don't want to see anyone go down. So... But do you think Brady actually? We're gonna close it out. Do you think Brady retires after this year?
No.
If he wins the Super Bowl, does he retire?
No.
Do you think he goes out a champion?
Nope. I don't think there's a shot. The only way he retires this year if he gets family injured. There's no other way he retires this year. I don't think at all.
All right.
I think he's having too much fun still, especially with this new team. It seems like him and Antonio Brown are boys. So there might be, and he's got Gronk there. Like, I think he goes. He's 43.
43.
He might go another year or two. I think. I don't think he retires this year, especially again since Tampa Bay could be a Super Bowl contender for the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. I don't know why he would go out now.
Well,
aside from getting hurt,
if he wins the Super Bowl,
if he wins,
goes out a champion.
Nah, dude, Tom Brady. He wants another. If he wins the one, he wants another one. If he fills up his hands, he wants to fill up his feet.
Jeez, we don't need that man to win anymore. Spread the love.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's a shot he retires right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, on that note, thank you guys for watching or listening. Please leave a like down below if you're watching on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications. We upload every Wednesday at 3 p.m. If you're listening to wherever you listen to podcasts, give us a 5-star review. We'll give you a shout out if we see it. If you are watching or listening on YouTube, comment down below who you think is going to win the AFC and the NFC. We love all of our viewers and listeners. It means a lot to us, all the support that we get. I think that's going to be it, Andrew.
I think so, too.
Until next week, guys. Peace out.